Hi, this is Eva for Once Upon a Timeline. Welcome to Midnight Mandela. How is everybody doing? Well, it's been an extra crazy political kind of nightmare week, but otherwise it's been pretty good for me. As long as you don't get too sucked into the narratives, which is getting more difficult, what with all the bombings of all the countries and etc. So what's the thumbnail? Okay, we had this discussion. You guys are talking about it. It's a starfish. Jackie, you said you saw it recently. It's kind of gone viral, even though it supposedly always existed. Although there's weirdly not that many images of it. And I was trying to find video and I could find almost none. And I did see it recently, where somebody was doing a reaction video and they're like, oh, this is AI, but haha, it's fairly realistic, blah, blah. Well, I kind of know how these things work, so I looked it up. And no, this is what it looks like. Male parts. I do not believe that I've had this one on before. I have had some worm things that have that look on the end. Like, I don't even know what they call them. They were like, I think they were originally worms and now there's some kind of clam or something. But I don't think I had a starfish with the man parts on each end yet. So this one is called granulated sea star. And there's not really even a reason why there's these slits on the end. I guess it would maybe be a continuation of this structure on the bottom here. But, yeah, this is what they look like. How could you not know about it? How could you not be joking about this since you were the small child? I'm sure that we would have been if it was around when I was a kid. There's somebody holding it. So, yeah, it's not AI, as best I can tell. These do exist. Just kind of jump around a little bit. Now that one has an extreme look to it. I don't, might be in someone's aquarium and kind of has that look. So if we go to these, now one thing I didn't really check is their location. Coriaster, granulated sea star. There's other names. Doughboy starfish. Big plated. That's what I'd call it. No, that's not what I would call it. Okay, so I guess the doughboy joke is about related to that. Locations: Africa, Indo-Pacific, Great Barrier Reef. Okay, so they have these over by Australia, Red Sea, Vanuatu, Fiji, Papua New Guinea. So like everywhere. Doesn't seem to be any shortage of these. They're not endangered. I feel like if you had an aquarium, these might be fun to have, although they are kind of large. Here's that was the video I had on before. Anyway, I kind of needed a thumbnail, and so they're face huggers. Somehow I think of worse things when I think of face huggers. Something like Doctor Who style, but yeah, I don't know. It's like a 10-year-old boy is making up some of these creatures for the timelines. Jackie, you've known about it for 1 year. Okay, well, maybe you're moving faster than me now. Dirty looking things are probably graspers. I don't know. So it's been kind of an interesting week. I don't know if you've heard about the there was the, I'm gonna kind of wax politics, but I'm not really gonna go politics. This is more like fake reality kind of a ponderings, and I'm not saying I know what's going on, but for those who don't know, a rather prominent in the United States, well known and much liked by the right-wing side person was recently shot and died at a school while he was giving a speech. And some of my more right-wing friends we were talking about it. I'm more down the center, so I don't get sucked into the narrative as much. But one of the things that they did was they grabbed the video, and we had been doing this for a ghost video not long ago, and so we all had it all set up, and we moved the video over and had it moving it forward at 1/16th speed so that we could see what was up. And there were some strange anomalies in it where it looks like there was something under his shirt that kind of jumped out. So he was shot here in the neck, and then a ridiculous ton of blood came out. You probably would have trouble finding it on YouTube because they won't allow that video on YouTube. I did see the full video, but it's getting yanked quickly. But a ridiculous amount of blood came out compared to anything I've ever seen. Like, even like war videos and stuff, I've seen people get shot, say, in the jugular, and blood will spurt out with a heartbeat, and it's gross. But not this amount. I have just never seen. And what are the odds, that I don't know. The whole thing just seemed a little like, I'm like, is reality trolling me? Is it just to be like reality's trying to be more and more dramatic all the time? Does that much blood actually come out of humans now, even though I've never seen such a thing? So this guy, he was probably dead in seconds. That much blood came out. So much so that if you were like half a block away, you could see how much blood came out. It was like Quentin Tarantino levels of blood came out. If you know the famous movie director that is famous for making stuff ridiculously over the top. So we slowed it down, and there was weird things like how his shirt moved weirdly. There was a bunch of weird stuff there. I'm like, is this like a fake? Is it a false flag? Then we saw the blood come out, and it was bizarre because it really looks like it comes out and then it sucks back in, and then it comes out again, and then it reverses, and then it finally like comes out. And I'm like, is this AI? What is up with this video? Because supposedly this is the legit video. So I don't know, if we're just getting trolled, or if there's going to turn out that it's all fake, false flag, or reality strangeness. I really do not know. But I have noticed a number of very weird things lately with, not super long ago, there was another huge incident in the U.S. where a Ukrainian woman was stabbed on the bus by like a schizophrenic crazy person who had a long history of not being arrested and taken care of, but released onto the street despite violent behavior. Okay, so obviously this is a hot button issue. But one of the things that we were discussing was that the video, again, is hard to find because YouTube does not allow the violent part on. But basically, he gets behind her and he stabs her with a small knife. It looked like it was like one of those little utility knives, because you see him like he stabs her from behind. You see the aftermath where she's already been stabbed, but you don't see any blood at all. She's like this, and then she looks like she's crying, and then we get the impression she died right after, but you can't see any blood on her. But there's video of him walking around in the subway. Actually, I think it was the subway, not a bus. And there's like blood dripping everywhere he goes. So I guess the story then is that he had this blood from this knife, but how much blood can be on a knife that you could leave? You could leave some drops, but are you going to walk up and down and over here and there's blood? Where did all that blood come from? It looked like he was bleeding. But by her, you didn't see any blood. So it was like so weird. That video, we're like, wait, that doesn't make sense either. So, of course, she just happens to be Ukrainian and very good looking. And, I'm always suspicious when something happens and the woman, something really crucial happens like that really affects the populace, and she just happens to be like very unusually good looking. So again, I don't, is it a false flag? Is it reality trolling the crap out of me? I really don't know, but there's just been some weird stuff, some really weird stuff. Someone said a ring was on one of his fingers, then it was on another finger. Oh, you're talking about the Ukrainian murder one? I'll have to check that. I mean, even if it was fake, I mean, what are the odds that, who could be that stupid unless they wanted to give it away? I'm going to take my ring off and, yeah, weird. I guess he could be sitting there fidgeting with it. I mean, like, frankly, I do that when I wear rings too, but. Yeah, they released an image of the woman, the Ukrainian woman. Of course, the whole story is just interesting because it's basically stacked up to be very memorable. This poor Ukrainian woman escaped from, the war and was working hard on her way home and then was viciously stabbed. And she just happens to be super hot looking. And there was a lot of still images that were very dramatic looking. Again, it was very Quentin Tarantino-ish, except for this time there was like no blood on her and blood everywhere else but on her. I don't know what's going on. I'll have to check that one though. Oh, so they did release an image of her still. Of course, she looks. Oh, now she looks like really, like, I don't know if they did a Facetune, filter on the released image, but that adds to the confusion because people don't look like they look because they put out an image and that's an image that's been altered heavily and that is not even what they look like. She was still pretty good looking even in the real deal, but still. Reality rage bait. Yeah, I don't know, some kind of rage bait thing that reality is churning out, that the deep state churning it out, and that like there's revolutions all over the world. Is it the CIA doing color revolutions? Is it just that's what reality's doing right now? I mean, Nepal just had a color revolution kind of a thing. There's looks like we're gonna be attacking new countries, and the U.S. is. I mean, there's like so much going on. Israel just bombed Qatar and killed the negotiators for peace. So that was very interesting. All of this in 1 week. So a lot of it is very rage baity, very rage baity. It does kind of seem like that's the timeline, It's rage bait. Everything is rage bait. I think maybe that is part of the temptation to not get sucked in. I mean, remember when that Mangione guy shot that healthcare executive, and it was sort of like, well, he deserved it anyway because the healthcare executive was a really bad guy who scam people out of getting their proper health care, and it was kind of easy to see that viewpoint after a lot of the stuff they released about him, but it keeps like the slope keeps people keep sliding down the slope, and I think even I didn't realize how far down the slope I already slipped until there was another slip. And so that's kind of the thing we're seeing now with this with the Republican speaker who was just killed, was like, well, now they're like, well, there's a lot of people on the left, of course, cheering that this guy was killed, which I realize now that even the Mangione thing was really risky, because the minute you just start making up excuses to kill people, it's such a slippery slope, including, praising Mangione. That's why we have the court system and prisons and stuff. And absolutely no benefit has happened from killing these people. So it's not like you get justice. So I think we just have to be really careful about not making excuses for really unsavory behavior. And I mean on all sides. Yeah, even when I saw the blood part, I was like, God, I don't know. Like, he holds his neck, and then and when we did the blow up, it was like the whole area was all kind of fuzzy, and then his face got real fat. But yet, I don't know how to describe it. It just did not look like, I wanted to feel like maybe that it was like they took the video and they AI'd it really quick or something and then released it. But, the timelines are so weird, and tomorrow it might be different video than it is today, and then actor CGI holocausts. Well, quite possibly, but then I'm like, maybe all of reality is fake. Maybe it's just a big troll by, maybe we're blaming stuff on the deep state, but it's just, reality is like a movie. Maybe that's what it is. I don't know. I don't even pretend to know. All I know is it's stuff's looking faker and faker, however you want to call it. And I would totally all just say, okay, this is some kind of deep fake false flag. But then the video magically changes, definitely Mandela style. So then you got to add that in. And then once you add that in, now I have to wonder if that's just the whole thing, Oh, Charlie. Okay, I'll check that. One of the other things that was going on, it just happened today, so I didn't have a lot of time to really go over it. Stuff's still coming out. They haven't caught. There was, again, a shooter on the roof. Apparently, there was somebody on the roof running around. Was it the shooter? Yeah. There was people standing next to him. One guy was doing, how in baseball where they exchange messages by, like, tipping the hat and going like this? Well, there was a guy doing that right before the shooting, and then the question that was being asked him right before he was shot was about school shooters. So what are the odds? Now maybe somebody was listening in and picked that time, but still, then there's a guy doing like weird, and then his bodyguard was doing this and this right before it happened. Like, so I feel like he's obviously doing some kind of hand signals. Now maybe the bodyguard was just hand signaling to other, innocently saying, cover the left flank over there or whatever. I don't know, but, yeah, AI slop can change, but not like if you've downloaded it and you have it on your hard drive. I don't think that it will globally all change the same. And then if you have an image that you printed on your printer and it changes, then, so that's definitely Mandela stuff then. His face was blurred. Yes, and it got all fat. And then there was this big black spot. And the spot had started on his chest to the side. And then it jumped up to his neck. And then, yeah, if you watch it in slow-mo, it's like the blood comes out. And then it sucks back in. Like three-ish, two for sure, maybe a third time. And then it finally goes out, and it was just weird. I'm like, as much as I'm trying to figure out how maybe bad pixels or something could account for it, I just couldn't. I just felt like the only explanation was AI, maybe a quickie AI or a timeline troll. Oh yeah, your AI generated save images. Everything can change. Yes, everything can change for sure. The question asked before, so if, like, say somebody wanted to kill him and make a point, maybe they were listening into the speech and they're like, now's the time. He asked about school shooters. They wanted to be dramatic. I could see that happening, but the tapping right before. What are the odds of that? I will check that ring thing too. You said that the ring changed, because that would be weird. Yeah, I don't think there's anything that is not susceptible to the Mandela. We have not found anything. Even, like, I think I'm real, of course, and yet people have all told me that my username on Reddit changed. Now, that was quite a number of years ago, and to me, that did not change. And then you have Moneybags 73 now, and a whole bunch of people swear he was Moneybags 76. He has no memory of that. He also used to have brown eyes. Now he has blue eyes. He has no memory of that. So even people change, you know, even I changed. I don't think I changed, but people think I changed. So I'm not going to dispute it because there were just too many people saying the same freaking thing. And over the years, someone will go, did you just change it? They always the same change. It's always the exact same change. It's a boring little twist of a change with one digit and number, a letter. And, you know, like for years, every now and then, a few people say, did you just change your username? Well, it's not possible to change your username on Reddit. Unlike YouTube, you can't do it. I mean, you can't just push edit and change it. It won't allow it. So we all think, let's see, we are real and it's a possibility that everyone else is fake. Yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't say in on the joke, but you know, solipsism is hard. It's hard to not ever think of it anymore. I don't want that to be true. That would be rather lonely, but yeah, Adolf switched from brown. Adolf Hitler switched from brown eyes to blue eyes. Yes. You wake up in the Truman Show, except for it turns out it's all automated and you're the only live creature in the show. That would really suck. That would be, at least the Truman Show, he could just go meet people outside. They were all real humans. Yeah, so if you look at that, of the video of the killing of the Republican guy, the white guy in the hat, he's doing stuff, but then right after he does the weird finger motions, then his bodyguard does like this, and I don't see why. So that was also weird. And then right after that came the shot. What are the odds that I don't know, they shot him perfectly, so much blood came out, it was like 15% of his body's blood was out in 2 seconds or so. I don't think it's, even if you do get him on the jugular, you kind of have to wait for the heartbeat to pump it out. It doesn't all come out in 2 seconds. You know, I don't know. It just, or maybe it does in this time. I don't know. In this timeline. Okay, so anyways, the sprites, the lightning sprites are getting very common now. Here's some. There's so many images of them now. They're like everywhere. And there's a video where there's like now that was the one I think I had on a few months ago. But, so now there's, let me see if I can find it. Where'd it go? Oh, you suck. I had it saved here. Do I have it saved? Oh, okay. Yeah. I may have not wanted to save this one. I don't know why I have this link saved, because this is the one that I wanted to show you. So apparently there was like 100 sprites all at once. I don't even know if this sped up, but I found this video in many places. I'm killing the audio and I don't want to play the whole thing because I don't know if it's copyrighted, but this is how many sprites then showed up in the Tibetan Plateau. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. But there was more. Actually, that's not the length of the video unless, yeah, there it is. All of these. And I think it sped up a little, but still, I mean, come on. Since when do we have 100 sprites all in the same place? I'm pretty sure this is time-lapse because you can see the stars marching, but still, I mean, what, every 5 minutes there's another sprite now? I mean, look at how many there are. This is insane. Wonder if I can slow it down, actually. I'll try it like that. I don't think that's enough to make it. No, it's not nearly enough. It's probably sped up like 10 times or something. But I mean, look at how many there are. That's ridiculous. More. Here's some more. They're all the way through. There has never been even 2 in a row, and now we've got like 15, 20, I don't know, 50 in a row. So that was 30 seconds, so maybe it was 3 minutes or 6 minutes in real time. I don't even know. How long does it take for a star to march? Like, let's see, it started here. Oh, they did march pretty far. Maybe it's like an hour or something. But I mean, since when can there be like one red sprite and you're just going to hang out and take video and catch 100 more red sprites? It's, yeah. That is not right. Reported for the first time in 1886. No, it wasn't. When was this thing even done? This is the image that grabbed me. This image won the 2023 Photographer of the Year competition. No way that this image was even here 2 years ago. There is no way. And so while investigating that, I found this other video. I think there's actually more of this video, this image somewhere. I do believe I found more. This is interesting because when I first was looking, there was more to this. And is that the whole image now? That might have even changed. Well, you can really see the cones on these things now. I think that's an upgrade. These really bright cone parts at the top here. So what? We've got tree roots and then fuzzy tops. Is that how we're going to spin this? God, they look like aliens now. So anyway, there's been a very large upgrade to the sprite situation. But then we get these, and you don't have the cones. This has fuzzier cones, but no fluffy top. So there's quite a variation in these that's showing up now. I think this might be the video that, this bottom part here might be the photography, the word part. Excuse me. I've actually had a very minor cold. And there's just like a little sneezing involved. They're still claiming that we didn't, let's see. They were dismissed as fiction, even when respectable pilots or scientists described them. Then in 1989, they caught them on film. I mean, really, they didn't catch them until 89, and now we've got hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of images of it. Seems unlikely. Anyway, there's no way that in 89 these were around. Oh, here. This looks like a different video. Wow. No, no, no. I'm just like zooming forward to find it here. Where is it? Here. I think this is it. Quit it. Here we go. Oh, so there's... I thought there was just going to be a couple. This is crazy. So another really long video of it. Ah, and the sun is getting lighter and lighter here. All right, so they just keep shooting and shooting and shooting now. There's not just going to be one lone sad little guy. All right. Anyway, how long until we get to see them ourselves? I don't know, but I have a feeling the time will come. Yeah, good point. Sprites used to be only above thunderstorms. Now they just hang out anywhere. So they're like lightning above the lightning. It kind of sounds like they're saying there's like lightning underneath and then they're on the top, but we don't really need like... I guess if there's lightning on the bottom, it is by nature thunderstorm. Because there's lightning, there's thunder. But it's definitely not like the giant massive storm that they originally were saying it was. Yeah, I think I've mostly kicked the cold. It wasn't that bad. It was just really minor. I mostly just been, my nose has been kind of runny. My throat almost got sore, but then it just went away and it wasn't even enough to really do anything. But now I just have like this runny nose. Yeah, there was red sprites on a previous thumbnail. And that was like when they were just first showing up in reality and they were super rare and there was just like 1 or 2 images of them. And then for me, they had just been rumors and that we had no video of them or images, that they weren't. So I was making a thing like, look, these things are showing up in reality, but now they're like everywhere. All right, so... Cry Uncle. This one's interesting because they're kind of pink there. I don't know if it's a difference in the quality of the camera. I don't know why this one with the blue cones and the fuzzy tops. I'll take a second to look at them here. So this is a kind of a thing where I was, even as I was setting up for this video, I was finding more than I had last week. So they are very busy. Very, very busy. Oh, this one, I think I saved one like this somewhere on my Reddit, thinking that was the hot deal before these other ones showed up here. Isn't that amazing? It's beautiful. I think they said that was from the space station, if I remember correctly, on Reddit. Assuming that's even real, and assuming any of it is real. NASA's new close-up solar flare recordings look unreal. Everything looks unreal. Just like that starfish, the guy was absolutely convinced that it was AI. It's like, there's no way I didn't know about these. All right, this one, I believe this was Jackie. What, I didn't even write it down? Whoa. I hope this was Jackie, because apparently I didn't write it down. It's not even on here. So if you've you've ever watched Men in Black, the movie, they had this, it's a sci-fi, and they had this little trick where if the Men in Black didn't want you to remember something that just happened, they would flash this little light into your eye, and you forgot what just happened. And that was part of their keeping things a secret. Well, apparently they've got something kind of like that now from all the way back in 2021. So the story now is that when you have a short-term memory, it has to get encoded into long-term memory. Okay, that storyline's been around for a while. And in order to do that, they apparently now know that you need to make coughlin, and so you have to, coughlin synthesis is required to encode it into long-term memory, and they found that if they illuminated the neurons that were going to contain the memory, like how do they even know which neurons are going to contain the memory, that to inhibit, they could inhibit the development of the coughlin, and then you wouldn't remember the event. Now, obviously, I haven't really done that on humans. They're doing it on, like, rats and stuff, but it's actually pretty bizarre. So they had to do it twice in this storyline, where they did it within a half hour of the thing that the mouse or rat learned, and then they had to redo it, like, I think at night or something, like later. They had to do a second dose. But if they did the double dose, then the creatures would not remember any of their learning. So pretty bizarre, all the way back in 2020, 2021. I have a feeling that that storyline will continue to evolve. So most of the sprites have fuzzy that's actually funny, huh? Because don't they, in what do the cartoon sprites look like? Sprite cartoon, do they have fuzzy top hairs? What do sprites look like in, like, what does a nature sprite supposedly look like? See, what about the little creatures that live in the forest sprites? What did they look like? Did they look like this? Maybe, sort of? Will the fuzzy tops be like the wings? Okay, so yeah, I remember wings and, like, yeah, it is a good point. I'm just wondering if the wild, the lightning sprites will turn out to look like the nature sprites. So yeah, almost all of them had the fuzzy tops. It could be that they'll say that they all did, but you couldn't quite see them or something. I'm not sure how that's going to work, because they all used to look kind of the same or really close, and they really seem to be diverging now that there's a ton of them. In the case of NASA, it isn't real. I definitely get why you're saying that. I'm just wondering if, like, none of it's real, and that's why everything looks so fake. Because some of this stuff I have seen, like the halos around the moon and the weird rainbows and stuff. So I've seen it with my own eyes, so it's not just NASA doing it. I would not be surprised if one of us got to see the red lightning sprites fairly soon. Okay, so now it's the creepy stuff. Sorry. This is not the most, this is kind of a yucky video because we've got the murders and now we've got malformations. So before we had the two-faced cats, and then eventually I saw that they had a name for the two-faced cats. It was Janus cats. And so I'm like, okay, we have a name for it now, so there's going to be a lot of them. The minute there's a name for it, and so now we have a name for the whole phenomena, not just in cats. It's called diprosopus. I think that was Jackie found this one. Yes, Jackie, good find. So we have a name for it, and humans get born with it, and some of them live. And it used to be that, you know, they say, oh, you can't live with this. But the other thing is, like, some of the sites are saying diprosopus is like a duplication of the face, but only one brain. But in other locations are saying it's like two different fetuses fused together and they have two different brains. Most places are saying that only like one face is really operable, but then I go to other like functional, but then I go to other places that said both sides work and they move independently and blah, blah. So I like, it's all like, I can't sort it out because they're all saying different things. So this girl, this is another one where one location said that this child got ill and they didn't take her to the hospital fast enough and she died when she was a couple months old. But then in Spanish, I found another site that said this child has just celebrated her first birthday. And in Spanish it said that, but I do speak enough Spanish I can understand that easy stuff. And so did the Spanish site like get it wrong? I don't know, but this was a child that was born and lived for at least some amount of time, and maybe in another couple shifts she'll be 6 years old already or something. I don't know. This is an older child that is, as best I can tell, still alive. Didn't get two only got two eyes, but had two noses and stuff. So there's like a milder version, and there were some operations to kind of straighten out his face a little, but as you could see, there was two. Okay, so here's one. This one, they had got the additional extra eyes. I don't know what happened to this one, but they're saying that there was two brains for this one. And I didn't find a death notice for this one, so I don't know. As of this writing, this is 2014, the child was still alive. This is another one. This might be the first one I showed because the cheeks look similar. From India. Anyway, so that's a thing now. There was one site that said, I think it was in Spanish, but I don't know if they were talking about like a Spanish country or India, but they said 35 children were born, are the number of children that had been born with this in that country. Now, a lot of them did not make it, but still, I mean, 35, that is a lot. Yeah, my sleep's been all wacky. I'm like, asleep. I can't figure out how long I slept for. It feels like 8 hours. It's been 2. I'm not sure if I've slept enough or not. Sometimes I only sleep a couple hours and I'm done, but then other times I slept 12 hours. So maybe I didn't need the full 8 hours the next time because I slept 12 a few days ago. I don't even know what's going on. I don't even know how to sleep anymore. I really don't know how to sleep. I feel like I'm like, well, I'll try to get 8 hours of sleep in. I don't know if I need it or not, but it seems like a good idea. Okay, now this one is from Easy Cheesy 181, and it's pink velvet worm, because we don't have enough weird creatures. They don't have any images on here. This is the wiki. A species of velvet worm. It kind of sounds like there's a lot of them. As traditionally defined, it's rose pink with 18 pairs of legs. How is it a worm and it has all these legs? Didn't they used to be, like, I guess I want to say caterpillars used to have those, but not worms. But now worms have bajillions of legs, in this case 18. It doesn't even look like a worm to me, but this is not the exact one I was looking at. Are they velvety? I don't know. It looks like it's fake. Here's another one, all different colors. Oh my god, that looks faker than all F. Okay, so the magic thing here, I don't know what that thing is on its head. Oh, that's a finger. Okay. So basically these velvet worms are supposed to be worms, but they can like shoot this sticky junk like it's a spider creature or something, and it shoots them out of these little head turrets. And so I think that's what they're trying to show here. It took me an hour to, I don't know what that is. The heck. The head turrets are up there. They don't call them turrets, but I'm calling them turrets. Australia's got them. Hello, Australia. Do you know about your velvet worms? I have a feeling that these will get wider spaced eventually. Oh, there's another one. That one's... there's a lot of images on here. That's a whole different thing. Okay, so we're not on velvet worms anymore. I just wanted to show you this. There's the little turrets, I call them. I'm sure there's some fancy name. Supposedly these are modified legs. Okay, whatever. You know, everything that shows up, they just say it's a modified leg now. Pinchers are modified legs. Shooty things are modified legs. So, oral papillae. Alright, there's the dude. So they're pretty cool. I think that was most of what I wanted to show. So I guess worms, they're just more creepy snake insect thingies now. Peripitus. My favorite is the peripitus. Brain slugs. Dare I type in peripitus, or will I regret it? Peripatus. Okay, peripatus. Another genus of velvet worms. Found in Central America, Caribbean, and South America. The world's tiniest little image on there. Well, maybe those are new because check it out. There's hardly any images of it. Oh, that weird sleep, is that normal for you, General Sorrel? Is that it? It's gotten like, weirder and weirder. There is no system anymore. I don't know if down the line we're going to blame it all on lack of incandescent bulbs or what. I feel like it's kind of a convenient narrative that they banned incandescent bulbs right when a lot of this kind of really kicked in. And then they came out with this narrative that the blue light messes up your circadian rhythms and stuff. And of course, you can't buy incandescent bulbs to save your life. Oh, yeah, I do have the fan on. Is it? Hopefully it's not bugging you too much. It's been pretty hot lately, so I just I kind of had the fan on all the time now. See, I did that one. Okay. After 400 years, northern bald ibis has returned to Albania. Of course, it looks weird and fake. It looks like those plague masks, doesn't it? The head, it looks like those, which originally weren't in my timeline either. That looks so fake to me. It's just amazing. Let's see. Actually, there were some other ones I wanted to cover. Before I go all into those, let me cover these others. Jackie. I'm sure you guys have heard of humpback whales, yes. But have you heard of the humpback dolphins? I had not until Jackie found them. Whoops. And not only is there a humpback dolphin, but there's 4 different kinds of humpback dolphin. There's the 4 genuses, and one of them is pinkish. At least the adults are pinkish. So remember the pink ones that were in the river dolphins, the pink river dolphins? So these are pink like the river dolphins, but they're not river dolphins. They're like a coastal species. So this is kind of their range, depending on which of the 4 you're talking about. Right now, this is the hump they're talking about. There's like a little hump there and some more there. I have a feeling that that is going to get bigger because it's pretty subtle right now. They're not that huge. They're like just bigger than a human. Let's see what else is on here. So see how there's kind of a like an extra ridge there? And some of that is shadowing, but it even looks bigger than when I looked at it like last week, frankly. I think it was this one that was the pinky ones. Interesting, because this one's like half pink. I think that they were getting more pink as they got older. This one is quite pink. Let's see, where is that at? Oh, so this is over there by Australia. Jackie, do you remember the pink humpback dolphin over by you? They're talking about the plastic accumulation. You know, I am just not going to worry about that because it just seems like every 5 years there's this new thing that's going to kill us all. And lately it's microplastics. Let's see, Australian humpback dolphin. So you also have this Australian one. That's at the top of Australia. Not much info on that one. It also looks like it's pink there. I don't know. Underneath it almost looks white, but I wouldn't be surprised if that's supposed to be pink. So, pink dolphins. There's definitely spreading rapidly. Alright, and then our friend in Japan, Taro Eto, found that there are more kinds of pangolin than just that one boring old pangolin that showed up like 6 or 7 years ago. We now have also tree pangolins, and there was even more of them. But the tree pangolins have this big, long monkey pangolin tail. So the tail is just a lot more prehensile than the kind of more klutzy one that I remember seeing originally. And I'm noticing like the scales are getting more coloration here, because used to be there'd just be like all one gray kind of scale, but now we've got, they almost look like, these remind me a lot of pine cones, the scales on a pine cone, because it's like dark here and then like golden on the edges and stuff. And even the shape, the color, everything, it really looks like pine cones. I wouldn't be surprised if they roll up and pretend to be pine cones at the rate we're going, but so they used to be much more like just gray. So the original one that showed up is also gets like really large now too. When they first showed, they were more like this size, but now they can get huge. I don't know about these tree ones though. Let's see. I should probably just go over here and see all the other pangolins. All right, let's see. I think that this was white-bellied was the tree one. Yeah. White-bellied pangolin. Oh, there's 8. 8 kinds of pangolin. Dang, why did I think there was only 4? Okay, so white-bellied is the tree pangolin. Let's just look up pangolins then. Pangolins. 3 genre. Ground pangolin has like a huge fat tail. Interesting. Okay. I don't think I've seen any of these others other than the one big one. Alright, let me just find the species here. Where are they listing the species? Threats. Oh, yeah, that's right. They were blaming the coronavirus on them for a while. A coat of armor made of gilded pangolin scales. Well, that's pretty cool. I'm assuming it's from antiquity time. That looks closer to the original one, but I thought they were darker. This is interesting because I'm not really finding a listing of the 8 extant species here. Is it supposed to be up here? You would think that they would list all 8 of them. Okay, maybe here. 3. Okay, that one looks pretty normal. That one is weirdly fat. That one is more like the tree one. So some of these look like the tree one. Smutsia. Smutsia is endangered. Smutsia gigantea. Alright, let me just look at Smutsia. Interesting. So Smutsia looks like a half platypus. Look. The tail is nubby. Oh, look at how fat the tail is. That's cool. It's so cute. All right, that must be an ancestor. Look, it's still alive. I'm like, we don't get to see an image of it alive. Its average mass has not been measured. One specimen was found to be 66 pounds. One was found to be 88 pounds. All right, so Smutsia gigantea. I just want to jump over and get a good look at a live one here. That's not a live one. Does that really look like? Okay. Trying to figure out if any of these are a live one here. That one might be. So it has a really fat tail. It's really cool. Does that not look like a little dragon or what? It looks cool with the fat tail. I really like this fat tail version. Yeah. These things are like Pokemon, I swear. Even more cute than the first pangolin. I'm in love with Smutsia. Give them another couple of years and they'll be in like zoos everywhere. And then they'll be like, oh, it's the latest pet animal of like South Korea or something. Hopefully the universe makes them easy to take care of, because I want to get me one of these once they become common. Oh, look at how cute that is. Look, see, they're friendly. Vet caring and orphans. They're called temminks. Temminks. Yeah, it looks like they're pretty chill. Rescued from poachers. So, I mean, like, they don't look like they're very mean. I think they're being developed into beautiful companion animals. But I will wait until they turn into a companion animal first. Look at that fat tail. They are so cute. These are like total Pokemons. I love these. Ring, ring, ring. It's an old telephone. Yes. There is, I have to, not that I blame young kids for having no idea how to, that is not an old phone, the picture you showing. The old phones have the round ringer, the dialer thing. And there's nothing funnier than watching a very young person figure out how to dial one of those. I do not blame you for a second when you can't figure it out, but still to us old folks, it's hilarious. Pokemon. It's Pokemon. It's Pokemon. I like it. Dragon scales. They're so cool. Maybe they'll just get bigger and bigger until they turn into dragons. I swear the first ones that showed up were like this, and then suddenly they're like 90 pounds, and oh, I don't think we're done yet. Now there's 8 kinds instead of 1. I like that fat-tailed one. Millennials are hitting the old mark. Yep. Once you're 40, you're kind of a little bit old now. Although in the current timeline, it's like middle age, more like, but compared to a 20-year-old, and from a 20-year-old perspective, you're old. Oh, Jackie had a rotary dial phone in the 90s as a toy. There's no making fun of Jackie. She knows how to use a rotary phone. Yeah, when I was very young, we had the rotary phones. I have to say, I did like it when we finally got the push tone ones. It's a lot faster. Then back then, we thought that was the height of convenience. Yeah, well, they would only have to just, as long as it's not plugged into the wall, they could, like, you could unplug it from the wall and then the kids can play all day and they're not going to be able to call anybody if it's not plugged into the phone line. Yep, I can't wait until I get... The universe is making me a little baby dragon Pokemon pet. And you know what? You won't have hair all over the house, right? You won't have to vacuum. Although, I do love our little sweet cat that visits here. And I bet she would love to have a pet Pokemon also. We just have to wait until they become common enough. Alright, this thing... I don't know if those are those murder hornets or what, but... The thing is, they're like so... Their butts are all red and stuff, so I can't figure out what's going on in this video. As far as I can tell, it is legit, and they are doing some kind of removal thing, but I just don't remember any hornets having these bright red heads. I mean, you got to have some serious... I don't know how... You know, if something with that giant, a stinger stings you, you got to have, like, padding or something. You'd have to have, like, 2 inches of padding so the stinger just stings into the puffy parts. Okay, so... I don't even remember. Removal of hornet den. It's interesting because they're very orderly now with these rings. I've just never seen any hornets this big. There was the murder hornet showed up, but I don't remember them having bright red heads. You know, I still remember, was it about 5 years ago when huntsman spiders were small, and then they're like, oh, a very unusually large huntsman spider was found. And they're usually like this, but this one was this big. And now they're all that big. And I remember saying, like, I don't know, this kind of smells like a Mandela. And then people are like, no, it's not, because everybody admits that there's only one of these. You know, I'm like, yeah, but there's something weird. And, well, my instincts were right. The huntsmans are all huge now. All the obligatory jokes about nuking this from orbit. Let me just see what the murder hornets look like these days. Are there only one kind? There was the Japanese murder hornet. Asian giant hornet. Okay, so they just got brighter then, looks like. They weren't this bright before. Ugh. Ugh. Okay, that is the murder hornets then. Yeah. Why is this one so bright? Murder hornets, Mandarinia giant wasp. Okay, so what? Oh, there's all kind of them now. So there's the Japanese murder hornets. Then there's this one, which has more red. Then this really... Is that the same one? This stripy one? Or is that AI? It's hard to tell anymore. The problem is telling these from the AIs. Okay. That one. Okay, so the stripy butt ones. Those. Ugh. Okay, what do we got here? Does this explain it? Bees. Vespa mandarinia. Okay. So the Japanese murder hornet, I guess, is the Vespa mandarinia. I thought it was just in Japan. So has it spread now? It's everywhere? Oh, there's northern, oh, so there's all these different, okay. So we started out with just the one giant hornet. And now we have northern giant hornet. 1.5 to 2 inches. Okay, that's that big. It's still pretty freaking large. Native range, East Asia, Japan, China, and Korea. Northern giant hornets in the U.S. First discovered in 2019. Oh, Canadian authorities also saw some. All right, so that's the same one. Okay, so what? The northern giant hornet is different than the Japanese giant hornet. And, okay, yellow Jackson wasps are not anywhere as big as freaking Japanese giant hornets. European hornets are smaller. Yes, they are. The Japanese giant hornet is considered a subspecies of the northern giant hornet. So before, only Japan had those, and now it looks like the northern giant is everywhere, and the Japanese one is just the subspecies of them. Okay, so where are they? Northern giant hornets. 2 inches. Queens are larger than 2 inches. Okay. All right. So that's it. They're not just in Japan. They're in Japan, China, and Korea. All right. I got it. Got it. All right. So yes, they have definitely spread. Because remember, the original thing is, oh, if they ever escape Japan. But now they've always been outside of Japan. And all over Asia. Now, oh, what if they come here? I'm not even going to worry about it. Because I still remember the 80s when it was like, oh, the killer bees are coming. And then it was no big deal. All right, so the murder hornets are coming to Asia. They have came, in fact. Good night, Vivian. Thanks for coming. It wasn't the most fun show. We've got murders and murder hornets and icky things. But we did have the red sprites, so there's that. Wolf spiders. Okay, wait. What is the size of the wolf spider? Because I swear Australia now always had these big ones. And I have seen some ridiculously large ones all the time on Reddit. I'm pretty sure it's legit. And those are the ones that have like... Well, there's more than one now that has all the babies on top of them. So then if you try to splat one, then 5 million of them run everywhere. All right, what's the size? Venom. Oh, they're poisonous now. Inject venom if continually provoked. Swelling and pain. Necrotic bites have been attributed to South American and Australian species. Okay, there's like billions of these. All right. I need the AI to help me out. There's too many. Uh, 1.38 inches. Oh, it's not that big. It's like that big. They're not. All right. Oh, the entire spider can be 4 inches across. Okay, see, yes, that is a big spider. It used to be that that would be like tarantula size. Desert wolf spider is 4.7 inches, so that is about as big as I can stretch my fingers. Oh, kitty! Hello, kitty! The male kitty is here. He's still probably a little too shy for me to hold up, but I am working on him. Okay, so yes, there are some. I've seen some where they were just like, so, yeah, that's like as big as my hand then. That is like a large tarantula these wolf spiders can get to. Deserta Grand Island. The Desertus wolf spider. From Deserta Grand Island. Alright, they go to 8 centimeters in Australia. 8 centimeters. That's still pretty big. I think they're all getting larger, though. I'm not going to go bother to look up Deserta Grand. Yeah, I kind of want to get one of these days one of those really old phone box things and just put it in the house. And the problem now, though, is locally they will no longer service. We can't have a landline. Basically, they've said that there's no more analog landline. So I'm not that far from the city. I'm a little bit rural, but we basically got a notification from the phone company that they are no longer going to send signal to the analog phone line. So I had to give up my landline. It was getting really expensive, so I was, it used to be $10 to have a landline, and they just kept jacking it up, and so I was definitely thinking about getting rid of it. Then when they notified us that they were going to get rid of it soon, I just canceled it immediately because it was already too expensive. I'm like, there's no use in... I kind of wanted to hang on to the phone number, and that was part of the reason why, because we'd had that phone number for a bajillion years, but... Oh, did you get that fiber? If you have that rubbery glue, that's how I get a lot of the fiberglass and stuff out. But you might have, like, arm hair. If you have arm hair, it's not ideal, but... So, basically, I don't have much arm hair, so I could just put rubbery glue, let it dry, and then peel it off, and then it peels off with most of the fiberglass, or... sometimes I get metal bits, or... Yeah, we got rid of our, I just, like, during the pandemic, I was making pretty good money. Nah, not so much, and everything's gotten so expensive, so. Food so expensive, steak went up another $1 a pound again. And I got rid of, cable got so expensive. It's, it hits this, like, death spiral, because I guess the more people get rid of cable, then the more they raise the price, and then the more ridiculous the price, the more people want to get rid of cable. So we just got Roku, and Roku, you pay $30 and then that's it forever. The only bad thing is that if our internet's down, our TV's down. It didn't used to be that way, but. And I really like Roku, actually. And I mean, if there's anything I really want to watch, I can find it on the pirate channels or something. The only thing I really miss is that in the old days, we'd all watch, like, they would drop the latest episode. Everybody would watch it that night, and then the next day, everybody would talk about the latest episode. And there was something to talk about. You go to work, did you see the latest episode? Blah, blah, blah. I talk about it. That kind of commonality is gone now. I remember all the stories of, okay, so this thing, we've had this harpy eagle guy on before, but it just keeps getting weirder and weirder. Now it's got this kind of this, I don't know, necklace thing. I swear to God, it's bigger than ever. And then look, the white, and then the coloration continues to get weirder. It's like it has a big neck thing now that it didn't used to have. And before it had a few colors sticking, or feathers sticking up, but it didn't have that, this kind of darkened crest thing. I think the beaker's gotten larger. It's just ridiculous. So sometimes I just have them on for that. I just see it and I'm like, this thing has altered again. Sun pillars. I've had those on before, but they look brighter than ever. Not sun pillars, it's light pillars. Light pillars, light pillars. I swear this looks fake, but apparently it's not, because I found other videos from other angles. They just... Oh, one of the reasons this was weird is because the way it, you could kind of see it disappearing there. I swear we never got to see this before in the old days, but... You know, when I first saw tornadoes, you would just see this wall of stuff. It wasn't all skinny and beautiful, and it looked like you could hear it, but you couldn't really see the pillars very good, and now it's just crazy. Now they're just sitting there, and you can see every little internal organ of the thing. So I think it's ending here, and then it's going to get sucked back up. I don't want to play too much of it all at once, because I don't know if there's copyright on this thing, but... So it's kind of dying, I guess. Now it's going to get, like, sucked back up. And look, there's like this little one in the middle. I've never seen this little baby one inside the main one. Is that like the thing that spawned the big one? Or is it spawning a smaller one? I've never seen that. Look at that. Or is this like... I don't even know what's going on here. Why there's like a baby one in there. Just says tornado. I can't keep up with the science here. It's just never ending. More crazy, weird sky stuff. This guy, I don't know how this person is alive. It's just like weird nightmare. So I guess he's got some kind of weird bone problem. Trying to figure, okay, I don't think they even said what it was, but I think I read through that and found it like a month ago when I first saw it. But he's got this, so he's like, all his limbs are like weirdly flat. And this is not AI or anything. This is him. I just can't remember what they explained what the thing was before, but he had some, like, how is he able to walk and everything too? It's actually really impressive that in this reality, you could have all that wrong with you, but still just walk around and stuff. Like, I think in the old days, you'd definitely be, like, in a wheelchair or something. I feel like he should be some superhero flat man who can slide underneath doors or something. Paper Man superhero. Yeah, so I have Prime, Amazon Prime, because of all the shipping. So I get Prime Video because of that. But I'll tell you, instead of downloading all the extra programming, I still watch all the Prime stuff on pirate channels anyway, even though I legally have access to it. which is extra funny. IKEA man. I don't know. It's like flat man. Yes, exactly. He could get into anywhere by just sliding through the cracks. Anyway, I feel like this is impossible, basically. But there's people like this all the time now. Like, no, you can't exist. This was a thumbnail a while ago, and I never explained it, but basically, the whole thing where weird minerals make the water stupidly bright blue is just like everywhere now. So this is a glacier runoff, and it's stupidly bright blue because of glacier flour is now the new story, which is ground up bits of floury, like rock ground into flour that so finely ground that it reflects the light, and I think they called it Rayleigh scattering, made it blue or something like that. It's like there's always some kind of whack-doodle excuse for why there has to be a insane, ridiculous amounts of color. Okay. Well, we have the creepy show today, so we might as well just continue on with the super creepy crap, and here's some more. Fetus removed from 1-year-old girl's brain. I think this is a fetus-in-fetu situation. So basically, fetus-in-fetu is like when your body like gets the other fetus inside of it while you're developing, and you end up like, I don't know, this is just freaking creepy because it just looks like a giant worm monster. I mean, it looks like it could be totally alive, and I really have to wonder, like, if there's, like, some brain in there working and it has the brain of a puppy or something. I don't know. I guess I'm just being totally disgustingly morbid, but this looks like it totally was alive. I mean, they used to dig these things out and they'd just be this calcified hunk, but now it looks like, oh, it just looks like the stuff of utter nightmares. A 1-year-old girl presented with motor delay. On examination, she had an enlarged head circumference. CT and MRI revealed that the infant girl had hydrocephalus and an intraventricular fetiform mass. The mass had a vertebral column, femur, and tibia. Images showed the fetus-in-fetu had spina bifida. When further examined, it also had upper limbs and finger-like buds. So it's basically a fetus worm. That's the scientific word. No, it's not really, but bonus points if you read the article. There was one in a scrotum. I am not looking at that. Am I looking at that? I'm afraid to ask. Oh, the girl died. Too bad. But with the size, they couldn't have left it. Yeah. All right, I'm not tight. I'm afraid to click on that. Who knows what I'll see. I kind of like to vet these a little bit. All right, I think I've already shown these goofy zebras now with the big fat black areas. There's all these different kinds of zebras now. And every time I look at this, the black part got like bigger. So the story is that, oh, you thought zebras were... you thought that they were white. Let's see. You thought that they were white animals with black stripes, but actually they're black animals with white stripes. Well, I guess in this time then they are anyways. So the different species continue to diverge, and so we now have this one that has a lot of black. A lot of black. I think I mentioned before in my old timeline the mane was always solid black. It didn't have the stripes continuing up in the mane, but it has been this way for a while. I see now that the ears have turned quite white. I'm not sure when that occurred. I don't remember them being white. Everyone has Roku now. It's kind of weird now because it's like almost like I went back to the 70s, because we're back to commercials, and some of the quality just reminds me of the 70s. But you can still like fast forward except for some of the commercials, and at least you can stop it when you want. So we went all the way into this super high-end, amazing, no commercials video, and then we circulated all the way back to 70s TV. And kind of a lot of stuff's homemade because it's on the internet. And what was that movie? Well, there's probably more than one, but there's been a lot of movies where some weird creature lived inside a human and it had its own life. And I hate to say it, but we're pretty much getting there, because these fetus-in-fetu things, I mean, there's really no reason now why they couldn't be alive. I mean, that flesh, that looked like it was pink and alive. It wasn't some calcified Hulk, you know. It looks like living flesh. And I mean, there's really no reason why it couldn't have been. Look, it even has like this weird, I mean, if that was some deep sea creature, you'd be like, okay, sure, why not? Ugh. I don't even know why I saved this one. I forgot. Oh, I remember now. Okay. I think that termite nests have gotten a little larger. Is basically the thing. So this guy's over here yapping about this termite nest. So you're thinking, hey, that termite nest is pretty big, right? It looks like as high as a house. But then he's yapping away about it. And then he runs to it. Then you realize it's a lot bigger than you thought. That, I don't think I ever saw one bigger than about 6 or 7 feet. So I think that termite mounds or whatever, they're mountains instead of mounds, have gotten a little bit larger. Tasmanian. Okay, so what? This is, oh, Africa. Africa. I think we already covered the new moai thing. New moai was found in a mucky old lake. So, assumingly it was always there. A boy born without a brain lived until age 12. Now, I think if I remember right, there was a tiny molecule of brain squished in the corners, but he had a brainstem only. Okay, brainstem only, but no higher thought. A lot of hormones are produced by other organs. So apparently you can live till 12 with like no brain other than your brainstem now. I don't think... I was impressed when people were living with half a brain, but now you only... This is a kind of like that headless chicken that showed up some years ago where they cut off its head, but like a tiny bit of brainstem was there. I don't know if anybody has not seen the headless chicken thing. So apparently if you cut the head off a chicken but leave the brainstem, there's no mouth or nothing. You can just drop food down into the open hole and the chicken can live for years. I know this sounds ridiculous, but it is a thing in the current timeline. Yeah, this is just the gross show. I might as well just get it all over with, you know. So the rainbow cloud thing seems to be kind of upgrading. So here we have the rainbow cloud plus like a green sky, and that showed up a whole bunch right around then. So there must have been like a bunch of them. And it's interesting because there's a bunch of people going on, oh, well, is that real? I don't even ever heard of it, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, it's only been around for a couple of years. Somebody going, I actually went through this one a few years ago, but I'm like, how big are wombats? I didn't think that they were, let's see. How big are wombats? They're big. Now, are wombats. They were, you know, they were kind of cute, but they weren't like, let's see, 45 inches, 12, 24, 48. So they're 4 feet, 4 feet tall now. Wombats are 4 feet. So they're like, they're like 10-year-old kids or something. They have definitely gotten bigger. I don't think that they were 4 foot tall originally. So there you see, I think they're about half that size, maybe. See, that just looks fake. It doesn't even look, it looks like she's got a stuffed animal. It's too effing big. They have somewhere along the line gotten Gigantosauruses. How big are these things going to get in the end is my question. Be like wombats kicking the butts of like bears and stuff. So I think they were like this baby wombat. That was the size of an adult wombat. But now it's just a little baby. The tree kangaroo reappeared in New Guinea after vanishing for 90 years. The ultra-rare Wandawowi tree kangaroo was last recorded by scientists in 1928. All these things are magically reappearing. There's a bajillion tree kangaroos now. This is another Pokemon thing. Look, the face just gets more Pokemon-y all the time. This looks so fake, but it's real. I'm only 27 days behind now. Speaking of icky memories, it looks like all the dead people in the Tiananmen Square massacre are very much evident now, because now we have all these images of the massacre of all these run over people and stuff. That just, none of that was in my timeline. I've never seen any images. And then I was finding a few hints of images and a few run over people like a year ago, but nothing like this. Like, even those old ones, they were a little questionable in spots. There's like that, a person, I'm pretty sure it's a person, but now there's like dead people everywhere. So it's really is like a massacre now. And it's interesting because we called it the Tiananmen Square Massacre when I was a kid, but there was no evidence of any dead people then. So now that I look back on it, I'm like, wait, why did you call it a massacre anyways? It is a massacre here. The back of the Great Sphinx, apparently there was an excavation in the back of the Sphinx, and he put a trap door in his back, or it's like a new one for me. It's all crumbly back there. This thing is just disintegrating. There's a metal door in the back of the Sphinx, put there by Barrais in the 30s when he excavated what he thought was a tunnel that turned out to be a huge natural fissure that cuts the rump of the Sphinx. There was no giant natural fissure. I thought this was cut raw. I don't know. There was no natural fissure. The rear looks more solid today, but you might notice a little opening right next to the tail. I'm assuming that they like shored this up, but it wasn't in that bad a shape ever that they had to like put it all back together, and there was no natural fissures for me. In the other show, before and after, you can see the height of the water table. What water table? The height of the water table. So what? This all filled up with water? Now that I've had on before. It looked a little different before. And that, last I checked now, I saw this a few months ago, that was another supposed excavation. And wasn't there naturally, but cement fill, I guess that's the fill. Anyway, there's a whole bunch of tunnels and all kinds of crap underneath the Sphinx now. And the irony is, when I was a kid, that was like a rumored, what if there was tunnels under there? And then everyone's like, that's ridiculous, that's stupid, you guys are stupid conspiracy theorists, and they would have found it. And so now they magically have been there the whole time. So I saw some of these trapdoors going down like some months ago, but I couldn't find any info on what it led to. So currently in the timeline, it led to excavations done by previous researchers that just, I guess, decided to jig a giant hole in the poor guy. And that is one of them. And then that one on the butt apparently now is another one. When I saw this video, that's the first I'd ever seen of the one on the butt. This thing, that's the first I've ever seen that. Now, I did see one where there was a giant hole that was capped at the very top of the head. I'm like, are there like 100 holes dug into this poor guy now, or what? Oh yeah, Shari is not here. Oh, do we need to get rid of, like, if Shari doesn't want to talk to you, just like stop bugging her, alright? Because she doesn't have to talk to you. The sand was up high. Yeah, but what's up with that water table business? Alright, so... I think I had this Komodo dragon one on already, so I won't cover that one. Don't remember why I wanted this cows. Did I just think it was funny? What was the reason I had this cows on here? Oh, I remember why. Okay. Since when do they have that long a tail? The cow tails used to just be like a third that length? Maybe a half? It didn't drag down here. It wasn't all floofy. Their tails. Come on now, the tails. So this stuff here, the dangly chest bits, that's a little older, but the tails, why are they so long? So let's look up cows. Right, those aren't, I also don't think they were nearly that fat. The tails are like really thick. Now these aren't as long as that other one was, but they're way thicker and they're still longer than I remember. They're way more substantial. They used to have these little dinky wonk total tails. And now that I think about it, like, why did I never question it? It's just, that's how they were. You know, I think once in a while you'd wonder why they had a small tail, and whatever. Cows have small tails. What else is there to know? But now that I saw that they've magically gotten way bigger, right, let's see what we got here. So that one goes down almost to the ground. That one is not real helpful. Can we have more side views of cows, please? Look at that big fluffy one, goes almost all the way down to the ground again. It looks ridiculous. Look at it. It looks like a dog. Doesn't that look just wrong? There's a big fluffy dog tail on that cow. I mean, even though long-haired cows didn't exist in my old timeline anyway, but it's like a big dog. Okay, this one's got a curly kind of a long tail. See, another one almost all the way down. The cows, they just keep changing. Look at the hip, the butt's up high. Super long tail. Wait, what's going on here? How many cows are there? Wait, is this even legit? Wait. This thing has 3 feet? 3 back feet? Is this an AI or what? Isn't I got 3 back feet? I think this might be an AI. Actually. He's got 3 back feet. What's this foot doing? It looks a little suspicious in here. Let me just see what that even is. You can see nurturing dairy cows, free stock photo. Yeah, I think that's an AI cow. You sneaky bastard. Well, maybe that's why that hip looked a little extra. Okay, another long tail. You know, if it wasn't for those extra feet, it would have been hard to tell that that was an AI, though. And once they straighten out those problems with those extra feet, it's going to be a lot harder to ID them. I'm hoping that they'll have, like, if they have the program so that they put, like, a hidden indicator inside the photo that show, like, maybe a pattern that is subtly be able to see by a program that this is an AI. And then if all of the programs collaborated and did the same design in there, then you could run it through, like, say, a scanner, and it would scan and tell you it's an AI. And that would at least cut back on 99% of the, like, the YouTube scams and stuff that, I mean, the government would still be able to make fake AIs and stuff on you, but they really, really need to do something, because there's so many of these stock photos, and there's all over Reddit now. There's fake video and fake images claiming to be real. Look at how fluffy that tail is. The giant humpback here. Something's got to give, because there's not going to be any real images left. Yeah, wombat's half that size. I agree. I mean, there's so many images on Reddit now, and everybody's upvoting them, and I'm like, it's AI, because there's still little things that you can tell, but then sometimes the real world is weird enough that I'm like, no, I don't think that humans would do that. I think that's AI. And then it turns out it's just some really wonky building that's for real. So that's the other thing. It's like every now and then reality is dumb enough to fool me, or weird enough to fool me. All right, this looks like Mandela, but so this, I don't know what show this is. It's not something ever I watched, but I guess in this show, the story is that people remember him saying, "Take my strong hand," and then he obviously has this little wonky hand. It must be some comedy thing. I've never seen it, but apparently now he never said it. And check this out. This is not the Mandela channel or anything here. This is just like a regular Reddit one. And so then there's people who go, well, how come everybody remembers that line when it's not the real line? So that now the story is take my little hand. My other hand isn't strong enough. Take my little hand. Now this person remembers the Mandela because they're making hey, this is like Luke, I am your father all over again. And we're going to need a bigger boat. Okay, but most of these people are just in here absolutely puzzled going, why doesn't he say, take my strong hand? And then this guy's all, I thought he said, shake my strong hand. Well, you could see mishearing that, but yet they interestingly remembered the same statement. Then this guy goes, no, he says, grab my strong hand. And then their guy's all, oh, okay, it's so close. But then he's like, nah, that's a lie. He does not say grab my strong hand. So somebody's totally trolling him there. Anyway, so much confusion about, I don't even know what show this is. Let me even see what it is. Okay, so they're just talking about, oh, okay. Did I have this on? I think I had this on. Maybe I didn't have this on. This guy, I can't remember if I had this on. I think I did. He has this weird, creepy, like, claw thing in his hand that apparently is, I don't know, humans are weird. He's got this extra finger or something. I think I had this on. Yeah. So that thing, like, he just has a claw sticking out of his arm or something. I don't know. It's creepy, but anyways. So I think, did I save that separately? And then I saved that take my strong. So then someone's like, well, they made a joke about take my strong hand. And then that people are like, well, that didn't happen either. And it's like, So yes, this is definitely the creepy show. Because you can just have like a, and that claw moves too. It's not just like vestigial. It's like, look at that. It's got a big fingernail. Yes, I'm pretty sure I had this on. I think I remember talking about the fingernail. Duh. All right, more creepy creepies. All right, okay, yeah, the clam. I know. I think that's the foot, right? The foot of the clam. But I don't remember a bright red one. They come out so far now. Everything's internally colored. It's not slimy. It moves really fast. They used to move so slow. I don't even know what to say, but I don't think that, I think that's new too. All right, maybe I'll just end it with that one. You guys don't remember that? I can't remember if I covered that thing. Keep in mind, though, this was... Did I not cover that claw thing? Maybe I just thought about covering it. All right, I'll put it on again, because since I didn't have it on... Yep. There it is. People are more interested. So I guess this guy's in prison or something. I mean, I would say it was fake, but it just doesn't have the fake feel to it. So, and I guess there's a chance it is fake, but Yeah, today's, so when did I see that? That was 16 days ago. Does Chucky? I looked at Chucky recently. I didn't see anything. 6-finger discount. Yeah, really. So you're like this and your hand's like, Wolverine. Oh, yeah, failed Wolverine, man. They injected the extra claws in the wrong spot. You know, when I was talking about having a 6th finger, I did not mean it like that. The nothing is consuming everything, and now it's the everything. That's what we're getting. We have the everything now. If you can imagine it, it's coming. Unfortunately, sometimes you see stuff that you wished you didn't imagine. AI gets arms and legs wrong. You know, this was, the sound was pretty good, and I don't know. It could be AI, but oh yeah, I haven't looked at the guy. Okay, I'll look at the Guy Fawkes Max real quick. It probably has. I think last time I looked at it, I didn't see anything. Yeah, it looks pretty stabilized. Yeah, pretty much. I think it's pretty much. I would just say the eyebrows on a lot of these will look a little thicker than I remember, but it looks like it's pretty done. You know, the only thing is a whole bunch of these have this weird little slit. Like, I saw one and I thought maybe it was a stylistic choice, but they all have that now. And I do not remember ever seeing that on any of them, and they all have it. So that, I would say that is different. This weird slit, which seems to be on most of them. You know, usually they don't have an actual hole for the mouth on a mask. You just talk behind it, the sound comes out. So that is definitely new for me. Is there anything else? Dang, this one even has nose holes. They don't have nose holes, do they? No. See, this one has a slit also. Why is it so big? Gonna be fat-faced also. Dang, it's so big. Is that gonna be a thing where the face is gonna be huge? Dang, it is huge. Okay, that one's not so bad, but I wonder if we're getting into a thing where they're gonna be really big. Like an oversized face. The only other thing is, I don't think I remember this wrinkle. This one wrinkle that makes you... Oh, this has it too. I think this wrinkle has also come in. That makes you look old, basically. I don't know who would want that. Yep. So I'm going to vote that the wrinkle is also new for me. See, like, look at that. It's all like... So, not totally stabilized. We got, for me, we got this extra wrinkle, and then you got this mouth slit. Yeah, so the chin line, that showed up for me last time, but it is newer. Easter Island statues get raccoon hat. They already have it, don't they? They already have those. They have those red poofy hats. Yes. 6 feet. Okay, anyways, I think it is time to go. Is it still Fruit Loops? I haven't seen the UI empty loops for some time. All right, I'll look at it real quick. Hold on. You know, for a while, so many of them had those goofy, they call them hair things. There we go. So many had these, and now there's not many. Let's see. Oh, wait, something's different here. Something's different. This thing is different. The top hat bit. Okay, so... Whoa. What is that? How did I get here? Oh, you know what? I think that might be bird poops on the top. Yeah. So what I would say about these is some of them are like this on this very top bit. It looks a little more like hair. It used to be more straight. I think this is all bird poops, but it makes it look like it's fringed or something. Now, it's interesting, though, because I just don't remember them having bird poops or whatever it is that's... Whatever that white junk is on the top. Now, before they said that these were like this volcanic stone that was red, so that's why they're red. I'm wondering, they look more red than I remember, though, so I'm kind of wondering if they're painted now, because they actually look pretty darn red. And it's not that same kind of... Now, this looks more like it. But see, the tops, maybe the paint is off of them. And it's not, I'm going to have to look into that. Because before, it was the stone itself was red, and it was red on the top also. But here it kind of looks like it's not red underneath, and it's not red on the sun-facing area. This one looks like a repair. Yeah, maybe, see, now this, see, it... Very suspicious now. Birds. Okay, maybe it is bird poop because there's two birds. At some point they got more than one style too. It used to just be the one style, which was this one. The hats get very large. Okay, all right, I'm done. My brain is tired. They should turn into cowboy hats, but they'll do it really slowly. Then they'll tell you, "Oh, it's a mistake that anybody ever thought that they were hair, and they're actually always been giant sea anemones or something." I don't know. All right, it is time for me to go. My brain is all tired. Thank you, everybody, for coming. Thank you for all the Mandelas. I'm just checking. Did I think I got it all. Okay, so that Diprosopus, two-headed faces things, that was from Jackie. Humpback dolphins were from Jackie. I think that's it. And then Tree Pangolin was from Taro Eto. And Pink Velvet Worm was from Easy Cheesy 181. So thank you, everybody, for all the Mandelas. I appreciate it very much. Think good thoughts, everybody. Thank you for coming. This is Eva signing off for Once Upon a Timeline.